So good to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. It's lovely to be here.
Nice. Let's do a little bit of introduction. So my name is Victoria Silber. I am helping global businesses to expand to new markets. We're giving know-how and we are also giving expert help. And because of that, I was looking for experts in Finland also when it comes to marketing, because marketing, digital marketing and all other kinds of marketing, of course, is a huge part of export and expansion to new countries. And then we found Simon, who is an Englishman in Finland. You can correct me if you're not
I'm
exactly
going
an
to correct you.
Englishman. Exactly. I
I'm a
was thinking
Welshman. I am a Welshman.
Welshman.
It's British.
You are
British. There we
British,
go.
a Brit in
Yes.
Finland. I was like,
Yes.
okay, what is he going to say when I mention that? Interesting. Nice. So please tell us about yourself and also why you are in Finland. But that's the last part.
We'll come to that last part.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for having me. So I was born and raised in Wales, as we said then. Fast forwarding, spent a long time in the video gaming industry in the UK. Doing that, I moved out to California and spent a few years out in California. And so you're looking at around about early 2000s. And at that point, Nokia, who were huge, seventh biggest brand in the world at the time, were really trying to move into gaming in a big way. And they asked if I would come over to Finland, to Helsinki, and help them grow their business. So that was a very interesting change from Los Angeles to Helsinki. That's a culture shock right there, but it's been great. It's really nice. So essentially what brought me to Finland was Nokia, and I've been back into a few times, back to California, back to London, but now very much based in Finland.
I see. Nice. And what made you stay? I suppose you're not working for Nokia any longer.
I'm not working for Nokia any longer. So I met my wife and we've had children, but also we were in the UK during COVID and Brexit. And I think both of those, finally, we just said, let's go to Finland. It's lovely there. And so Finland is a really great country to be. You feel very safe. You feel very secure. You feel very connected with nature. And so right now, it's a really lovely place to be.
I see. And as I can imagine, the weather is not worse than it is in the UK.
Do you know, we've been reading a lot of reports recently about how Finland may become a holiday destination for like Southern Europe in the future, because it's becoming so hot, and the problems with forest fires and all of those infrastructure problems that they may be suffering because of climate change, Finland doesn't have. And so right now it's 28 degrees. It's a beautiful, clear day. You've got 100,000 lakes. It's beautiful. It's a great place to come on holiday. So I'll work for the Finnish Tourist Board as well.
I see. Okay, cool. Nice. As I am from Estonia. I am sitting in Estonia right now, enjoying 28 degrees as well. So far north, but not so far.
Not that far, no.
No. But when we talk about Nokia, you have also worked for Microsoft and some other major companies.
Yes, I have. Yes.
What did you do?
So basically marketing, so global marketing roles to really bring that down, working across a number of different brands and different products, families of brands or individual products, really a lot of things. So you can probably tell I'm not in my 20s anymore. So I've been fortunate to have many experiences across all of the disciplines in marketing and sales.
Nice. And now you're using these experiences.
Finland. So I represent Up There Everywhere, which is a global virtual creative agency. And we are full function, full service. So we do everything from research right the way through to website design and build, social campaigns, digital marketing, and on. And so we've got about 180 people around the world. And so we're able to build various teams, different projects, be they small, be they large. And we have people who specialize in various different industries as well. So we really cover many things. But I'm based in Finland, as we're saying, and my specific role here in Finland is to help Finnish companies go global.
Right.
But then on the other way around, any other companies who want to come to Finland is to help them understand the ecosystem, how to operate, connect with various people, all that sort of activity.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the part we are really going to talk about. But
Mm.
let's first talk about working as a Brit in Finland. How about the work culture, the differences between the two work cultures? But now you can also add actually the US work culture here.
Yes. No, it's been, as I say, it was a interesting cultural change when I moved here.
Mhm.
And I need to be careful I don't offend either the
Anyone?
British or the American. But I think the thing about Finland, not just the work culture, but the people in general, it is about its integrity, honesty, trust, work ethic. It's that, whether that's a Scandinavian or a Nordic thing, but it is very much about being true to you and being true to the people that you're working with. And so they are very hardworking, very efficient,
Right.
and at the same time, there is that work life balance. And so the big thing, especially coming from California to Finland, you'd be on a call and you really need to get something done. And someone say, no, I'm sorry, I have to go and pick up my children.
Right.
Now, perhaps in California or maybe even in the UK, you'd be like,
Mhm.
oh, really? We need to get this done today. Whereas in Finland,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Let's
Yeah.
do it tomorrow or whatever it is. And so it's a really nice balance. Those are some of the challenges or the switches that you need to make, but you also need to be very succinct in Finland because I know had gotten in a lot of trouble previously because being British, we say, we go all round the houses. Please, can you maybe, if, but do this.
Okay.
Whereas in Finland, it's do it.
Right.
Don't waste my time with all of these so-called pleasantries.
I
So
like that.
I don't want to come across that Finns are rude. It's not that. They're very efficient. And the language is quite like that as well. Unless they're very fluent in English, almost native, it can come across as slightly harsh. And you think of it, oh, so I guess those are the major differences.
I see, I see. Yeah. As I have lived and worked many years in Denmark, and currently
Mm.
I actually live in Sweden, in Malmö. I can, of course, recognize the family work balance thing. So it is, yeah. So when I have to pick up my kids, the other person is right away. Yeah, of course, of course.
Mm.
It's just fully understandable. Why did you say so late? You should have said before.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
yeah. But the talk about Finns being so quiet, not talking at all. Is there truth in it?
And you know what? There is. And this
Mhm.
is the whole thing. Behind every stereotype, there is some truth. Finns are very shy,
Oh,
but humble is the word that
yeah.
you'd think. And I mean, it is this humility. It is this shyness. And again, this is something to be very conscious of for businesses coming to Finland is that don't come in and be loud and brash and aggressive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we are a mate. Don't do that because it won't work.
Right.
Things will be a bit, oh, no, don't do that. But the good thing about that is, on the other hand, is that while they're quite private and shy people, they are open to other people. So they are welcoming. And also, you just be yourself, be honest, transparent for brands and companies coming. You don't need to try too hard.
Right.
Just be who you are, but do what you say you're going to do, be it in a business environment or be it a consumer product or a service. Make sure you say what it is going to do, that it actually does it, be it a website or a toilet cleaner or a software. Just make sure it does what it does. Make it nice and simple, elegant, but functional.
Mm. Brings me to a question. So let's say it's something that is asked a lot about different cultures. So when there comes a foreign company, it can be a Japanese company, it can be German, the US, how do they read Finns when they need to get an answer, even a semi answer, like when there is said, no, we are not interested, or yes, we would like to talk further and actually mean it. How do Finns actually express that? You are in some cultures, it's pretty much through the flowers in a way. You don't really understand. Are they actually interested or are they not? Are they smiling and saying yes, but not actually thinking that? How is it in Finland? How direct are they? when they are giving that kind of feedback?
No, that's a great question. And in all that we talk about now, I think we need to be cognizant of the younger Finns are very worldly wise.
Mm.
So whatever you might experience potentially in the US or Japan with people in their 20s, it's fairly similar in
Okay.
that sense.
Mhm.
But I do think, yes, the Finns will let you know either by not engaging with you or directly telling you that they are not interested.
Okay.
So there's never any fluff, any
Okay.
woolliness. And
Okay.
again, that was my point about the cultural change. You'll know pretty quickly.
When you arrived to Finland in the first years, which challenges did you face actually? How did you feel in some situations that it's really difficult for you, except for the being polite and not being received as
Yeah, it is that connecting with people. It's ironic given what Nokia's tagline used to be, connecting people.
yeah,
Because Finns are quite shy, you can't insert yourselves into their lives and say, I'm coming round to dinner,
right,
or we are going out to see a movie, or you need to be very conscious of that. Again, that's more with the older generation, but family is very important to Finns, as with many people. And it is this shyness, there is this personal boundary that you need to really respect in Finland. So that was hard to get to know people initially, but being Brits, they like British people. And
okay,
so I was fortunate there. I
okay,
think, again, this is down to this balance of being open and humble, but with a little bit of excitement.
mm,
So don't
mm,
be too brash and in their face. So
it's a little bit like the Jantelo in Scandinavia, where you really don't think you are better than others and all these things.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, totally.
yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the Finnish language. It's a topic,
Uh, it is a
right?
topic. Anteeksi and puhu suomea. That means I'm sorry, I don't speak Finnish. So yes, it is a big topic, and
Yeah.
it's a very interesting topic in Finland in itself,
Okay.
because as with many other parts of the world, Finland, or unusually in Finland rather, it's an interesting challenge with population because the population is decreasing in
Yeah.
Finland
Yeah.
and the birth rate is dropping. And they know they need a lot of immigrants or
Right.
immigration
Yes.
into the country. But they also know that the language is incredibly hard to learn,
Mm, mm.
incredibly hard to learn. And not that I want to put people off, but I think it's the fifth hardest in the world. I think you've got Chinese, Urdu, very complicated ones.
Estonian.
I think it's harder than Estonian. There is some match, I think, with Estonian, but it is in such a unique, I think Hungarian is its closest language
Oh,
derivative.
actually, it is
It is
Estonian.
Estonian.
It is
Ah,
Estonian.
okay.
But in
Right.
Finland, they have spoken language and written language.
They
And there's a
do.
bigger difference there than it is in Estonian language. In Estonia, we
Yes,
speak the way we write, but in Finland, it's different. More
it is.
bigger difference there. Yeah.
Of course, the national language is Finnish, and the other language is Swedish that
Right.
legally you have to learn because of the whole dual language side of things. So, of course, to operate in Finland effectively, you need skills in the language, but Google is phenomenal with its translation right now.
Mm.
And the important thing is the vast majority of Finns, I usually say over the age of 10 and below the age of 80,
Mm.
most Finns are somewhere between good and excellent at English.
Okay.
And like with any other culture, any other country, when you do visit, learn a few words, the please, the thank you, some numbers, the date,
Have
little
some
bits and
fun.
pieces like that.
Right.
Have some fun, learn some. Finland has some amazing phrases that they'll say them and you go, what does that mean? And then they translate it into English and you still don't know what it means.
Mm.
But the important thing is Finns understand how hard the language is. Most 99% will speak excellent English, although they're very shy about it.
Mm.
And most Finns, when you ask, do you speak English, will say, oh, just a little. And then you'll have an entire conversation
Right.
in perfect English, which is
Mm.
fully understandable. So yes, just learn a few words and ask, "Puhutko englanti? Do you speak English?" They also do speak many other languages as well. Unlike Britain and like many other European countries, they do learn a lot of other languages: Russian, Swedish, German, Spanish. There's a fair amount of Japanese spoken as well. I wouldn't worry about it is the
Okay,
short answer.
I see. So yeah, so that brings us to, so when expanding to the Finnish market, you are not expected to be able to speak Finnish. But when it comes to materials, let's say presentation materials, websites,
Yeah.
translations, are these expected to be in English? No, in Finnish as well.
That's an interesting question. If you're a Finnish company selling a Finnish product in Finland,
Yeah,
then yes, you
definitely.
do. You do have to have that. If you're a non-Finnish company coming to Finland,
Mhm.
you don't have to speak Finnish, but it would be best if you have a Finnish website.
Right.
That's mainly one for cultural sensitivity and for those people who don't speak good English,
Mm.
but mainly for SEO. Because
Right.
if you're a Finn and even you're wanting to buy a lawnmower from Estonia, you will probably type in whatever the lawnmower is in Finnish in Estonia.
Yes.
So that's something to be very careful of. However, obviously there are many services in Finland. We do that as well. We offer not just translation, but transcreation.
Yes.
So by that, not just changing the words, but actually making sure the words that you're saying in Finnish are what you want them to say.
Yeah. 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 Localizing the language
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
also.
because some people can put together localization and translation to be the same thing. But as you're saying,
Yeah.
localizing
Yeah.
really means
Yeah.
understanding that word doesn't exactly mean what you think it does.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I see. But when it comes to digital marketing, the approach is okay, you have been working for Finnish company actually from very early on, but still it was a global company. So
It
do you
was, yeah.
do you see the approach of digital marketing different in Finland than it is, let's say, in the UK or in the US?
No, is the short answer.
Mm.
The, the way I describe it when it comes to it, not just digital marketing, but any marketing, is that there are always those universal design, the famous books on all of those. So those are true. And how people interact with a site will probably be quite common. When it comes to the marketing, it's the channels that you use, and most importantly, the tone and imagery that you use. That's what will be different and you need to take into account. And there are obviously examples where other countries read from right to left and things like that to take into account, and other style issues and font issues. But from a user experience perspective, everybody wants to achieve the same thing or have a list of things they want to achieve. And your website is there to give them that. And it also, when it comes to content, there are cultural differences. We know, for instance, in the Asian markets, long form content is preferred,
Mm.
whereas in the Western markets and in the US, I just want a few sentences. That's all I want to
Yes.
read. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Yeah.
So there's things like that to consider, but actual UX and the strategy is, I would say, is common.
Okay. I see. I see. And the subconsciousness, it works the same way.
Yes, it
In
does.
Yeah. Yeah. But when it comes to global marketing, it's a kind of complicated in my eyes a little bit. When a business develops a brand, a visual brand, you don't really want to start changing it when you go to another country. But still, let's say, can you use the exactly same branding and way visual marketing in Finland and in, for example, Singapore or Korean?
You know what? I was going to say Singapore, probably. I spent some time in Singapore. Singapore and Finland, yes,
Yes.
because arguably Singapore is relatively Western in that sense.
Mhm.
I think, yes, you can, but you do just have to remember the cultural sensitivities. So obviously that's
Yes.
very important.
Mhm.
Obviously the language and the fonts will change. So it may be, well, German is very well known for having far longer words than in other countries. So you might need to consider the length of your font, and whether you need to use double byte characters for kanji, things like that. But I think, yes, you can keep that brand because people are globally aware these days. People in Japan, Canada, Brazil, they're all globally aware. And so a big brand like Coca-Cola, of course, is going to be the now, or Nike. These guys, they are able to keep that common across all of their marketing.
One of the examples I use often, because I work also in training in visual branding, but also localization. So Starbucks, when you check the websites of
Mm,
Starbucks in Japan, in
mm,
Mexico, and in Denmark, they're, of course, the branding is the same,
mm.
but the websites and the product are different.
Yeah.
Also the products. So it's important to remember that.
Yeah. KFC is a classic one, actually. They've done really globally because you don't get much more American than Kentucky Fried
Right.
Chicken, but they're really good at localizing their menus. So that in the Far East, there might be, I mean, dangerous stereotyping, but there might be more of a spicy chicken feel
Yes. Yeah.
with more rice than fries. So they're very good at doing that. And Coke did a great campaign about sharing your Coke, and you were able to personalize a can in whatever country you were in, but still, of course, keeping the red and the white stripe. So it's that mix of consistency of your brand assets, but adapting it for local needs and sensitivities.
Picking your brain here a little bit, using the chance. When we look at websites of Asian countries, let's say China and Japan,
Mm.
and also Korea, we can see a lot going on there
Yeah,
comparing to the Scandinavian website.
absolutely. Absolutely. And this comes back to, I won't keep saying cultural sensitivity, but it does come back to the Finnish Nordic simplicity. Keep it simple, keep it elegant,
Yes.
but uncluttered and simple. And I think that is an excellent example of where the same service, a website, can look completely different. But that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Because of course, you can geolocate your sites or tag them if you want to go over to the Korean site. So that's fine. But yes, but that's why it's very important to have a local representative. And I don't mean physically local, but if you could have someone from Seoul living in Helsinki who could still advise you on what your website needs to look like in Seoul. But yeah, it's an important, interesting point.
Well, again, so let's say I am from Scandinavia and I have that really simple and straightforward website, actually really minimalistic. And I think, okay, I want to go to the Japanese market and I want to stick to my style. Would it work there? Or would it be like, oh, it's weird and foreign? Or is it like, oh, cool?
You know what? This is something I talk to Finnish companies a lot about. That I won't want to speak for Norway, Denmark, Sweden, but for the Nordics, I think brand Nordic, brand Finland is very powerful. It is, as you just said, it is the simple, elegant, no fuss. That's what the life is known to be like. And so if you are marketing on the back of your country, which I think most local companies should do, then yes, keep it exactly like that. Don't try and pretend you're a Korean company. Don't try that. Obviously, be very culturally sensitive, use the fonts and the language, all of
Right.
that. But yes, keep it, if you are simple and elegant, keep it that way.
Good to know. For example, are you consulting in these matters so that people
Yeah,
can get some help to do the finishes at
absolutely.
least? Some
Yeah.
businesses, they have a bigger budget, some they don't really have any, but we still recommend to get the basics in
The
order.
basics are, yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost a lot of money. So when we start working with companies, we insist, if at all possible, to do an audit of what they currently have. That's not a huge amount of money, but let's look at where you're at now. What's good? Not everything is bad. As soon as we start working with people, we don't say it's all rubbish, throw it all away.
Mm.
We'll say, no, that's really good. If you just tweak this a little bit or just did that a little bit. So I think that's very important to begin with that. But yes, effective marketing doesn't have to be expensive. And I've written quite a few blogs on. But as you say, get the essentials right, and lots of things will start to go right from there.
Good. When we go back to the Finns and Finland and their design, we
Mm.
all know about Marimekko and oh, there are so many. The ceramics and even furniture and scissors, fiskars,
Festivals.
yes, some mumi and so on. It still comes to design mostly. What else do Finns do well, but don't really get that much credit for? What should?
They should do. There is the air guitar. The air guitar world championships are held in Finland every
Okay,
year.
nice.
Yeah. So there is that, but no, in seriousness, I think it is this mix of humility, pride, and that stoicism. There is a word in Finnish, sisu,
Yes.
which many people have tried to translate, and it doesn't really translate into English, but it is this keeping on going, whatever happens. It's stoicism, British stiff upper lip, whatever it is, but it's more in Finland. And I think that has really helped the country move from difficult times that it had 100 years or so ago to be a very organized, powerful, good country. I meant powerful in the soft sense, as in it's a good country, and Finnish people are very good people. And so I think that's not well known around the world, that just how strong a country it is and a strong and proud nation. So I think that's very important.
I know the Nordics is not the most popular country when it comes to expansion to exporting to, because I think it's not country, an area,
Region.
because there is not such a large number of population in any of the Nordic countries. So let's make that clear that Nordic countries are Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, but also Iceland
And Iceland.
and Scandinavia. Finland is not a part of Scandinavia. Scandinavia is Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Still, why would one? Again, I know Japanese, they have something with Finns. Why would they even come to Finland or the Nordics or let's say German company or Argentinian company? Is there any reason why should they prefer the Nordics for instead of Germany or the UK? That is usually the first choice.
Yes, that's a great question. Obviously, as you say, you don't have a mass population. You don't have that. But it is a wealthy population. It's a relatively high disposable income. It is easy to do business here. There are lots of regulations, but there are regulations. You know them. You won't be caught out by, oh, we didn't tell you that there's this thing that you need to do and whatever. Obviously, transport links around the region are excellent. Even in Finland, even though I don't remember how many people there are up north. There's 5.5 million people in Finland. 2 million or 3 million people live within a 400 kilometers, something like that. But there are still amazing transport links if you wanted to go up to Lapland. So you've got incredibly sophisticated environment, business environment, and cultural environment. Communications are great. Technology is great. There's a relatively high disposable income. It is all part of the European Union. So, well, apart from the euro question, you've got the euro question as in the currency, but as a trading bloc, they all communicate effectively. So there are many good reasons. Yes, there isn't the volume, but all of those other reasons mean that it is a good place to do business and get business done.
Sometimes it's better to sell less for higher money, right?
Right, exactly. Yes.
So,
I'm not trying to say everyone's rich, but these regions are not poor.
Norway is not part of the EU, but Norway is part of the European economy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The trading bloc. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So what advice would you give for Finnish companies who would like to go out?
Yeah. And this is something that I do quite often. I think it is be proud and be a little louder. There's the whole expression, be proud and loud. Just be a little louder than you are. Finland is a great country, and I assume people will have a great product or a great service or whatever it is. Be proud of that. You can be humble, but be proud and talk loudly about it, which is contrary to how Finns generally would like to do things. but do keep true to that Finnish, that Nordic values, look and feel. So I do often do that. Yeah.
Mm, nice. It reminds me of one experience I had when I was working with one South Korean company, and they are in beauty industry. And they were actually, it was before pandemic, and they were actually trying to hide that they were from South Korea. So I was helping them with SEO to the the US market. And then I was like, why are you hiding that? Look at
Mm.
the gay wave that is going on, no, gay beauty wave that's going on in the
Mm.
States. Everybody wants Korean products. About a year later, their whole branding was actually proudly Korean. And it was so
Mm.
beautiful to see. And I would say, yeah, it doesn't really matter which country or pretty much almost and are from. Be proud of it. And
Mm.
also, yeah, Finns. I have also noticed in some events where Finnish stands are really humble and quiet.
Mm.
There is not even marketing materials to give with people. And later I was like, oh my God, what was the name of their business? They were really
Mm.
cool. It's, yeah, yeah. As you said, be bolder and be louder. It's okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As I read a lot, and there is Ryan Serhant, who is a big real estate person in New York market, and he's saying you should go to improve courses. So improve, do I pronounce it correctly? I'm not really sure. Yeah,
Improvisation.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you really learn to express yourself and get people to say yes. And anyways, to express yourself and be more visible.
Mm.
It's a problem
Yes.
for Estonians too. So I know how it is, but Finns are epic in that case. So yeah,
They are.
beat us.
It's almost sweet in a way. I don't laugh at it, although Finns do laugh at that part of them being shy.
Mhm.
But it's the nice thing to experience rather than someone who's overly aggressive and in
Yes,
your face.
absolutely.
I'd rather have that than the other.
Yeah, and which leads us to what not to do when entering the Finnish market. So let's go to that loud part, I guess, first.
I think that's it. Again, it's hard to generalize an entire country. But yes, don't come in all loud and brash and annoying and in your face. Don't do those things. It's as we'd say to Finnish companies going outside. Yes, be proud and bold and confident, but don't make any outlandish claims that you can't deliver on.
Okay.
Don't say it's the best thing since sliced bread, even though it may be. Finns would appreciate, yes, this is really good. Thank you. Yeah, that
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Good. That'll do. We don't need any more. Does it do what it's? Yes, it does it. Great. Oh, I'll do.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the big things that I would say to
Mhm.
companies. And also, yes, it's back to this cultural sensitivity. Learn a little bit about Finnish history. It's a very old country, has a very long and complex history with multiple nations involved in it. But yes, learn about that. Learn about what's important to Finns, about nature, about family, about connectedness. All of those elements, they're important to Finns, as they are to many people, but
Yeah,
particularly to Finns. Yes.
yeah, it's appreciated. And you get
Mm.
plus points, right?
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Mm. When getting in touch with Finns, how should people approach that? Should I just send an email and another one after 2 weeks if there is no reply, or should they call, or what should they do?
Oh goodness. Again, that's a tricky one. And that's the same around the world. Is that term ghosting these days, isn't there? That I haven't heard back from them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a rule. I'm trying to say, oh, this is the right way to do it for Finns. I think it's gentle. If you've already had a conversation, perhaps you could talk about what do you need to be able to help this take forward, rather than saying to them, I'm waiting for you to come to me. It's how can I help you? What is the next thing? After our conversation, you were going to get so and so. Have you been able to get that yet? Do you need my help? So it's those sorts of things. But definitely, I don't think cold calling or calling, no, I don't think that's a good way. I'm not saying go anonymous, but a way that isn't in their face, that allows them gracefully to acknowledge or not acknowledge. And so I guess email is a good way for that.
I see. Do you know if there are any legal restrictions when it comes to cold calls or getting advertising your products? I know in
There is the GDPR, of course, the
right.
European regulations there. And there are, so obviously, again, from a website perspective, the
Mhm.
whole cookie tracking, all of that
Yeah.
sort of thing, opting in, all of that. So you need to be very conscious of that. I think there are, if people are getting multiple cold calls, I think if it's becoming spam,
Mm.
then there are legal restrictions. For us, the best way is certainly in Finland and I think Europe is LinkedIn,
Right.
doing direct messages on LinkedIn, making sure, I think all of it is about making sure that you're approaching them with a relevant reason for
Mhm.
why they should be interested in what you're saying, not just randomly, I saw you on LinkedIn and I thought you might be interesting.
Yeah.
No, it's, I see that you're the head of research for this and that. We have a product that may help you do this and that. So it is about being relevant. Yes.
Just forgot. I was thinking about this getting in touch. Oh yeah. So when you compare Finns and the UK when it comes to getting in touch and contacting, do you
Mm.
think people in the UK are more easy to get in touch with than Finns because of the
I think so. I think so. But the downside is that, again, being a Brit, I'm allowed to say this,
right,
is that Brits are more likely to say yes when they don't mean it.
right,
Yeah. Or give me a call. Oh, I'm very interested. Give me a call in 2 weeks.
yeah,
No. Whereas Finns wouldn't say that. If Finns do say yes, give me a call in 2 weeks, then you say, okay, I will call you at 12 o'clock next Tuesday.
exactly,
And then make sure that you call at 12
yeah,
o'clock next
yeah,
Tuesday.
yes,
So it's very much that. I
mm,
think you'll know where you are in Finland. There's very few gray areas. You'll know where you are. You might get told no, what you feel is a bit harshly, but at least you'll get told no. And so once you developed a bit of a thicker skin, it's easy to operate in Finland because you, as I say, you know where you are.
yeah. That reminds me of Danes and Dutch people a little bit, but I think
Mm,
Finns are a little bit softer. But who knows? Yeah,
possibly. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about sustainability, which is a really huge topic in the Nordics specifically, I would say, in my experience. But of course, again, Germany and the UK, Central Europe is pretty engaged. I have not put that much attention to the Southern Europe. But when it comes to Finland, how important is it to show yourself as environmentally aware, show what you're doing for and to for green food, for
Yeah.
example?
It is very important. It is very important. However, on the other hand, it's almost a given in Finland that you will be not necessarily sustainable in what we may mean as being carbon neutral and et cetera, but your understanding of nature and your impact on nature
Mm,
has been in Finnish culture for hundreds of years. And so there is that unspoken expectation that you are respecting your environment. You are looking after the water. So we had all of those things in the UK recently with sewage spills in the rivers. In Finland, that would be a national outrage. I know it's fairly bad in Britain, but in Finland, that would be an outrage. That how dare you
yes.
damage our water? Because Finland has some of the cleanest water in the world, some of the cleanest air in the world. All of those things they're not taken for granted at all, but they are there and you must respect them. So it is a balance. Back to this whole being bold and loud. You don't necessarily have to come in and say, we are this amazing, but do mention it. It's interesting that Finnair just has been recognized as, I think, the world's most sustainable airline. Now, how that's worked out, I don't know.
Right.
But so the national carrier is talking about its sustainability. Yes, it is very important.
Yeah, taking care of nature is like just simple common sense.
Yes,
You're
it
born
is.
with. It's not something
Yeah,
like new trend. Oh, I think we should start taking care of our nature. It's not.
exactly.
It's in the blood. Still, when it comes to companies, I know that, let's say in Denmark, they are really tracking the people, the companies they are
Mm.
working together with, they are pretty much forced to do that. And when I go with my products to some Danish buyer and they ask about my footprint and my reports and who are delivering to me and so on, they go
Mm.
actually several steps back in the chain.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
How is Finland already or also that far with the things, or you're not so sure?
What I would say is that make sure that it is all accurate, it is all correct. I'm not saying you definitely will be asked, because I think there is that expectation that you are respecting
Okay,
nature
got it.
anyway. So it's almost a given, as you say, common sense. But yes, do make sure that it's there, because there will be people who will want to check that. You've got all of the EU regulations
Yes.
anyway, which you
Yeah.
need to fulfill. And over and above that, there is the expectation that you aren't in any way being unkind or unconscious of the natural environment.
As you are, of course, working a lot with websites, do Finnish websites or Finnish companies also put effort into including the information about their sustainable activities
Yes.
on the
Yes, they
website so
do.
everyone can
Yes, they
access
do.
them?
Yes.
So,
It depends on what kind of product that you have, how prominent that you make it. And one company that I worked very closely with called Ute Scientific, their product, it's a skincare product, and it's about getting extracts of microbial extracts from Finnish nature. And so the sustainable part of their offering is incredibly important. So that is front and center. But if maybe that's not a critical part of your product or your service, but definitely have it available and featured on the site somewhere. Absolutely.
I read a few years ago, actually, one report from Denmark where there was said that 7 people out of 10 actually make the final decision if they have to choose between similar products from different providers. They make the final choice based on the information given on the website about their sustainable activities or approach.
Interesting. Oh, I haven't read that in Finland. That I'll go and look up on that. I hadn't read that research. I think it's that maybe it's even that it's this subconscious, unconscious bias
Exactly.
that there is that expectation. But I think it also comes down to honesty too.
Yeah.
That, as I was saying, that if you really aren't as sustainable as you're pretending to be, you will be caught out. You will get in trouble. So don't hide it, but don't make it front and center if it's not true.
Nice. I think we have talked about lots of interesting topics about Finland. Would you like to actually still dip into the UK a little bit more? Maybe we can talk about some real life examples of it would be fun to talk about Finnish companies in the UK. Do you have any examples? Some really interesting, it can be successes, it can be fails. Fails are really interesting topics.
You've got the successes of the Marimekos, the Fiskars,
Right.
the Itala, the glass
Yeah, of
people
course.
as well.
Yeah.
So they're very successful because of the whole Scandinavian Nordic
Yeah.
lifestyle. So they're very successful. But I don't know of any Finnish failures. Yeah.
How fun.
No, I could research that, but there's nothing that springs to mind.
Yeah.
There's some great American failures.
Finland?
Starbucks in Finland, Starbucks never really, I don't know. So I don't know whether they just haven't tried
Uh-huh.
or whether they tried and failed, but I know McDonald's, there are McDonald's here, of course, but their competitor Hesburger is everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you can get a Hesburger by walking out of your front door. McDonald's, you have to drive to where one is. And it's the same with Starbucks. I think with Starbucks is because the coffee tastes very different from Finnish coffee. They are the world's number one coffee drinkers, it's my understanding per capita, but they don't roast it as much. So it's very bitter coffee, very bitter coffee. That's another cultural thing you need to get used to when you move to Finland. So in Britain, everyone has a cup of tea, a cup of tea and a bit of cake.
Right.
In Finland, it's kahvi ja kakku, so it's coffee and cake.
Yes.
So I know Starbucks didn't do very well. So McDonald's didn't do very well. So I think those are the not great successes. But I don't know of any big failures. As in, you've obviously got Nokia.
Exactly. I wanted to mention that
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot. I could write a book on that, and I know many people have. And yeah, I have a danger of ending some senior people there. But there were some decisions made that even at the time you would have thought, yeah, I'm not sure that's a great idea. And to a degree, it was, ironically, it was completely contrary to the Finnish nature. It was almost arrogance
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
we are Nokia.
Mm.
People want this. And then they found out that actually, no, people want Apple.
Right.
And yeah, there was a very tunnel vision
And
on that.
Ericsson. Ericsson.
And Ericsson as well. And Nokia is still around, of course. And that is an interesting part about the Finnish ecosystem is that it was a very engineering based country anyway,
Yeah.
coming out of the First World War, Second World War, etc.
Yeah.
But then also because of Nokia, there are a huge amount of engineering and innovation talent now.
Mhm.
And the startup scene and biotech and tech scene in Finland is very vibrant because
Yeah.
there's such a huge pool of very qualified people around. And the Finnish government's very good in investing
It
in
is.
startups and innovation companies as well.
Yeah.
And that's something I work a lot with the startup scene in Finland.
We can see Business Finland everywhere in India,
Yeah.
in Korea, in Japan,
Yes.
everywhere. They're doing such
Yes.
a good job. I'm so amazed.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
Mm. Mm.
anyone who is working together with Finnish businesses or anything has to do with Finland, oh, they talk about Business Finland.
Yes.
So it's really great to see. So what's the thing about the startup scene in Helsinki? I
Mm.
guess it's mostly
Yeah.
in Helsinki, right?
No, there's a lot, obviously, because that's the biggest part.
Hmm.
But there are places such as Turku,
Yeah.
which is the old Finnish capital. There's Tampere, Oulu. Yeah, most big cities in Finland have some form of startup scene.
Hmm. They have managed to make themselves really interesting for Asian startups
Yes.
somehow. How did that
Yes.
happen? Why is that?
Do you know, I think I've asked this question a few times, and I think you've got potentially a cultural attraction anyway
Okay.
between Asian. I think you've got that going on. But I think one of the interesting things that happened was that Finland became a gateway to Asia for air travel because of its
Yes.
location. So
Yes.
flying from London or Paris or whatever is quite a long way. So
Mm-hmm.
you can do a stopover in
Mm-hmm.
Helsinki, which has a beautiful airport, by the way, over to the Asian countries. That's made it a bit of a gateway. And it is amazing when you're in Helsinki to see what feels like a disproportionate amount of Asian tourists. It's crazy. It's really, why?
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know the reason. There's great reasons to come to Finland.
Mhm.
I'm not saying why on earth are you coming, but it does seem a great attraction for Asian countries, which is really nice.
I think maybe also the humbleness. And as I was in
Yes.
Seoul, in South Korea last month, I could actually feel it. We match, we
Mm,
could click. And
mm,
as an Estonian, I'm not that different from Finns. So there is this quiet humbleness, even though we are more
mm,
straightforward and so on, but we don't talk too much. Maybe we feel comfortable in each other's
mm.
company
Yeah, I know that's
or
a really
something.
interesting.
Could be.
Yeah, because that's another tip that I would give for people when you're beginning to work with strangers is don't worry about silence
Yeah.
or pauses.
Yeah.
That it's fine. They're
Mm.
just thinking or they're taking a breath or they don't have anything to say. And that's fine.
But you don't get them small talking either. It's so hard
No,
to
no,
chat.
it is hard.
It's hard.
It
Yeah.
is. I have a joke. Maybe you won't put this one out, but the difference between, maybe I'll make it Estonian. The difference between an Estonian extrovert and an Estonian introvert will look at their shoes while they're talking to you. And an Estonian extrovert will look at your shoes when they're talking to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that
Something
whole,
like that. Yeah. Hmm.
it's that humility. It's that not wanting to offend.
Yeah. But yeah, so we just like to be quiet. We like personal physical distance. It's just
Yeah.
something we need and nothing to take personally. I think it's about the time we wrap it up. Is there anything you would like to add and maybe explain a little bit more about what you can offer? Let's say I just looked at my own website to globalmarkets.com. We still have a lot of work to do. So I've been building it, and whenever I have time, I'm going into the details. And then I was looking at Up website, and I felt that I need your help. I could use your help I need those fresh eyes
Hmm.
that helps me to become visually more entertaining or
Hmm.
more, I don't even know the words. I just had that feeling I need something that you can offer.
Yeah. Engaging, I think perhaps is
Yes,
the word.
probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something engaging. We can definitely do that. And this was to my point earlier when I mentioned about we always suggest starting out with an audit. We would always talk about research, knowing your consumer, your market, all of those sorts of things. So
Mhm.
that's usually the very first point. But then it is an audit of what you currently have, because nobody's starting from zero.
Right.
I doubt very much. Most of the people we talk to have something
Mhm.
and it's either not working well enough for them or they're not sure or they want to build on it or whatever. So definitely look at what you currently have, what's working, what's not. And so we do an audit. And from a digital perspective, we can do a very simple audit to number of visits on your site, engagement rates, click through, relatively standard stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
And what we do then is offer simple, quick fixes to what you currently have. Because what we don't do is look at a company, their website and go, oh no, you need a full brand new website. It's going to
Mhm.
cost you 100,000.
Mhm.
We don't, very rarely would we do that. We would say, okay, this is good. If you just do this, you'll see an increase like that.
Mhm.
And so let's revisit that in a month or whatever. Okay, that's going well. Let's do that. Let's do that. We work, especially with startups and these smaller scale up companies, we call them. We have specific packages that we offer that are, I say, packages that this one's an audit, then this one is a fix of your website, and then this one is. So we have these range of products that build like Lego bricks on top of
Mhm.
each other. And so that allows a company to know where they are, know where they're going to. There's a roadmap. We're very transparent about the
Mhm.
costs and what the expectations are. And I'm sure everyone says it, but we like to partner with companies to become integral in what they do
Right.
so that there are times that we also can say, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
I know everyone would love to get business, but there are times, I'm not saying I do it all the time, but it's not unusual for us to say, you know what? No, you don't need that.
Mhm.
Don't spend that money
Mm.
now.
Mm.
Keep it or put it into a digital campaign or whatever it may be. So we work with companies to really effectively use their budget and resources that they have.
Mm. So I can also look forward to, let's say, 3, 6, 12, 18 months
Yeah.
process if I feel like having a long time person or business agency holding my hand in a way.
And that's it for us. Because of the model that we have, because we have this group of people around the world, you're not buying a team who you have to constantly feed the machine. There are people, individuals that we pull in, be it for a PDF white paper or a full campaign with website, whatever. And so we can invest in companies. That's how we talk about it. That yes, the smaller jobs are not very profitable. Of course, then they aren't for most people. But you get the satisfaction of working with usually a very interesting group of people who need and want your help.
Mm.
And we give that willingly and also with the knowledge that we know if we deliver well, then they will continue to want to work with us and we will both grow together.
Mm.
And so we begin to understand their business more, how they operate, and we can proactively come back and say, hey, you know what? In 3 months' time, we really think you should be doing this event or a keynote speech or a white paper on et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very much a relationship that we build with people.
Mm. And as you have people in many different countries, actually, so
Mm,
clients can be feeling, how to say, safe about having someone who really understands them, also on cultural level, maybe
yes.
that can help
Yeah.
them. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
And what we can also do, if there are countries that we don't operate in, because we have such a wide network of people,
Mm.
if they're not currently a member of and this people really need someone in Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
They absolutely need them. Okay, we use our network of people to find someone who will come on board. And when they work with us, there are a set of rules, principles, guidelines that they need to work to as well before a client would even meet them. And yeah, I'm not saying we're in every single country.
Yeah.
That would be an untruth.
Of course.
But if there is a country that a company really needs us to help them with, we can help find someone that will work with us to help them.
Global approach. Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But local, and this is how I describe myself in
Yes.
Finland. It's your
Uh-huh.
local global agency. I'm here down the road. I get Finnish culture. I get you. But then also, I personally have lived in many different countries, and we have people in Boston, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Paris, Rome, and these aren't random people who are just on a list. These are people I work with on a daily basis. Luca, I know, is in Rome. I'm talking to him later today. And there'll be people I talk with on a daily, weekly basis who I can just talk about what's happening in Germany right now, what's happening in Iceland right now, what's happening in whatever.
Oh, interesting. Really good. Really good. Yeah. So it also helps me to who wants to approach people in South Korea, but also in Germany. You are
Yeah.
having someone to ask also for additional ideas or whatever it has to be. Yeah, very
Mm,
nice. Is there
mm.
anything else you would like to add to wrap up our interesting conversation about cultures? The Finns, Sisu.
See, so
Yeah.
goodness, I don't think so. We covered a lot there, but I think really, if anybody needs any thoughts or guidance that you can't offer, I'm more than happy to get an email, jump on a call.
Great.
And if you want to fly me out to Seoul, I'm happily do that as well.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yes, very
Right.
nice.
Yes. Okay, very nice. But I will put your information to the description of this video. So, and also the LinkedIn and website, the URL, so people can get in touch with you when they find that you are the right person they should be talking to about their projects. Very good.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.